Hello, and welcome back to Human Behavior Lab. I'm New York, your host and observer. Today, we have a fascinating phenomenon to examine, one that reveals something profound about how humans respond to uncertainty.
Hi everyone, I'm Juan. I've been reading about this story and honestly, it surprised me. We always hear about people rushing into tech, not away from it.
Precisely. That's what makes this trend so interesting from a behavioral perspective. Let's begin our analysis. According to a recent CNBC report, family investors, wealthy families managing their own capital, are increasingly turning to what they call old economy businesses. Car dealerships, fisheries, manufacturing. These are tangible, traditional industries that have existed for decades, if not centuries.
Wait, that's backwards, isn't it? I thought everyone was betting on AI and tech stocks. Why would wealthy, successful people choose fish markets?
That's the surface-level paradox. But let's look deeper. These investors explicitly cite AI disruption as their motivation. They're not choosing old economy because they love fish or cars, they're choosing predictability over uncertainty.
So it's fear? They're scared of AI?
Fear is an emotional interpretation. Structurally, what we're observing is a risk assessment calculation. When humans face radical uncertainty, situations where they cannot predict outcomes, they often retreat to domains where cause and effect remain comprehensible.
Okay, that makes more sense. Like, if I don't understand how AI works or what it might do to my investments, I'd rather put my money somewhere I do understand.
Exactly. Consider the car dealership business. The variables are known: inventory, location, customer service, financing rates. These have remained relatively stable for decades. Now compare that to AI, where even experts disagree about what will happen in 5 years.
It's like choosing to walk on a familiar path instead of a new one that might have invisible holes?
An apt analogy. And this brings us to our first psychological mechanism, the familiarity heuristic. This is a mental shortcut where people prefer options that are familiar over those that are novel, even when the familiar option isn't objectively better.
So our brains are basically saying, I know this, therefore it's safe?
In simplified terms, yes. Familiarity creates an illusion of predictability. The human brain is fundamentally a prediction machine, it craves certainty. When faced with genuine uncertainty, the brain experiences cognitive stress and seeks relief through familiar patterns.
That's really interesting. But New York, these are wealthy, sophisticated investors. They're supposed to be smart about risk. Why would they fall for this mental shortcut?
An important question. This touches on a common misconception that education or intelligence immunizes people against cognitive biases. Research consistently shows this is not the case. Experts are often more susceptible to certain biases because their confidence allows them to rationalize their intuitive preferences.
So being smart might actually make you more likely to convince yourself you're right?
Precisely. Intelligence provides more sophisticated tools for rationalization, not necessarily better rationality. This phenomenon is called motivated reasoning. We start with a conclusion that feels right, then construct arguments to support it.
So these investors feel safer with old economy businesses, and then they find logical reasons to justify that feeling.
That's a reasonable interpretation. But let's be fair, there are rational elements to their decision. Old economy businesses have tangible assets. Cash flows are more predictable. Competition is often less dynamic. These are legitimate business considerations.
But the question is whether those rational factors fully explain the trend, or if there's something emotional underneath.
That's the key question. In behavioral economics, there's a concept called ambiguity aversion. Research shows that people prefer known risks over unknown risks, even when the known risk is statistically worse.
Wait, run that by me again? We choose a bad situation we know over a mystery situation that might be better?
Correct. In classic experiments, Participants were given a choice between two bets. One urn contained 50 red and 50 black balls. The other urn contained 100 balls in an unknown ratio. Most people preferred betting on the first urn, even though the second urn offered identical odds.
That's kind of irrational, isn't it? Mathematically, both bets are the same.
Mathematically, yes. But psychologically, no. The known distribution feels controllable. The unknown distribution triggers anxiety. And anxiety, in decision-making contexts, often translates to risk-avoidant behavior. This brings us to another critical psychological structure, the illusion of control. This is the tendency for people to overestimate their ability to control events in situations where they actually have little influence.
So when investors buy a car dealership, they feel like they can control the outcome, even though they can't really control the economy or consumer behavior.
Partially. But more specifically, they feel they can understand the levers. In a car dealership, if sales drop, you can trace the cause. Maybe inventory is wrong, or marketing is weak, or the sales team needs training. The causal chain is comprehensible.
Versus AI where, what? You can't really point to why something succeeded or failed.
The causal chains in AI-driven industries are often opaque even to experts. Why did one algorithm succeed while another failed? Why did a particular technology become dominant? The answers involve complex network effects, timing, and factors that resist simple analysis.
So it's not just about control, it's about understanding control. Feeling like you know what buttons to push.
An excellent distinction. In psychology, this relates to self-efficacy, our belief in our capacity to execute behaviors necessary to produce specific outcomes. Self-efficacy is highest in domains where we have clear feedback loops between action and result.
And old economy businesses have those clear feedback loops? You do X, Y happens.
Generally, yes. The relationships are more linear. In AI and tech, the feedback loops are noisier. Success and failure can feel random, influenced by factors outside one's understanding or control.
I can see why that would be stressful. But New York, is this flight to old economy actually a good strategy? Are these investors making smart choices?
That's a normative question, asking what's good or smart. As observers of behavior, we don't make that judgment. But we can note that the strategy has both structural logic and psychological appeal. Whether it proves optimal depends on future developments that remain uncertain.
This whole trend makes me think about regular people, not just wealthy investors. Are we all doing something similar in our own lives?
A perceptive observation. Consider career choices. Many people are gravitating toward professions perceived as AI-proof, trades, healthcare, hands-on work. The psychological structure is identical, retreating from uncertainty toward the tangible.
It's like a collective human response to not knowing what comes next.
Indeed. And this pattern repeats throughout history. During periods of rapid technological change, the Industrial Revolution, the rise of the Internet, similar migrations occurred. People sought stability in the face of transformation.
So this isn't really about AI specifically. It's about how humans handle any big change.
The underlying psychological structures are consistent. What differs is the specific trigger. AI represents a particularly acute form of uncertainty because it threatens to reshape cognitive labor, the domain many humans considered their secure advantage.
That's honestly a bit unsettling to think about. What should people do with this knowledge?
Awareness is valuable. Understanding that our flight to familiarity is a psychological response, not necessarily a strategic calculation, allows us to question our own decisions. Are we choosing something because it's truly better, or because it feels safer?
So the takeaway isn't don't invest in old economy, or don't fear AI. It's understand why you're making the choices you're making?
Precisely. Self-awareness doesn't eliminate cognitive biases, but it creates space for more deliberate decision-making. And perhaps more importantly, it cultivates empathy, understanding that others' seemingly irrational choices often follow predictable psychological patterns.
This was really eye-opening, New York. I'll definitely think differently next time I hear about some surprising investment trend.
And that is the value of behavioral analysis, revealing the hidden structures beneath apparent contradictions. Thank you for joining me today, Juan. And thank you to our viewers for your attention.
Thanks for having me. Until next time, everyone, maybe think about why you make the choices you make.
We'll continue observing human behavior from multiple angles. If you found this analysis valuable, please subscribe and share. This is New York, from Human Behavior Lab. Observe. Understand. Repeat.